I'm working in Ableton Live, and over here on the left is Swingset. It's a Max for Live transformation utility I developed. Right now I'm using it to swing the 16th notes in this MIDI drum beat up from 0 to about 70%. I'm going to go after the 8th notes. They're on grid now, but I'm going to nudge them a bit up to about 8%. And even the quarter notes I'm going to nudge off grid just a tiny bit to 1%. And what we've done is taken a very straight and bland drum beat and made this funky groove. And it's a recreation of chicken grease. Here's the on-grid quarter, slightly swung 8th, and heavily swung 16th. The swing settings in Swingset operate on a 0 to 100% basis. So let's make everything straight again. If we look at the 8th notes, for example, 0% swing is on grid, and 100% goes to the next division down. That'd be the next 16th. And if we make them straight and do the same thing to the 16th, we see that 0% is on grid and 100% goes to the next 32nd. And this is important because if you swing two divisions at once, say the 8ths and the 16ths, no matter where you are, you're creating three equidistant notes between the swung 8th, the swung 16th, and the next quarter. And this is very important because this is how real music works. Let's look at Bob Marley's Jammin'. You have a on-grid quarter, the next on-grid quarter, a 8th swung about 50%, and a 16th note swung also about 50%. So the 16th is halfway between that on-grid quarter and the swung 8th. The other handy thing about this scale is that if you go to 67%, it's 2/3. Now you're creating and you're operating in a triplet grid, a triplet feel. Our triplet grid is on. You can see how it lines right up with the grid lines. Go back down to straight. So each division, 4, 8, 16, 32 for quarter, 8th, 16th, and 32nd notes, has independent controls. Most of the divisions have 5 settings: free, off, straight, swing, or both. There's a global swing setting down here, and each division also has a offset swing setting, and the offset can go negative. The main intended purpose of the offset swing is to kind of add humanizing rather than kind of locking things into a mathematically elegant position. The global swing setting is ignored when a division is set to free or off or straight. So right now I can set the global swing setting to 28, commit everything, nothing happens because everything is set to the straight setting. But if I then go to swing for the 8th or swing for the 16th or even swing for the 32nd and get this symbol over here, now they're being influenced by the global swing setting. Bring them back down to 0. The both mode is kind of interesting. We have a set of straight 8ths here. I can also set up a swung 8th. So that'd go like so. And now that 8th note that I had drifting out in space is being controlled by the global swing setting because our 8th is in both mode. And below the global swing setting is a both threshold, and that's how the algorithm determines whether a note is going to be straight or swung. So I can go down to 5% swing, which is equal to my threshold. I can commit the change by clicking the white space, go back into the utility, and it continues to recognize that as a swung 8th. But if I was to go to 4, which is below the both threshold, commit the change, go back in the utility, it would now be treated as a straight 8th. So the nice thing about both mode is you can essentially set up kind of polyrhythms. For example, if you went to 67% swing and had a triplet grid going on, you could also have these straight 8ths create kind of keeping a bass 4 grid going, bass 4 beat going. The divisions are kind of being defined in an absolute and objective sense. Let's put some swing on this for fun. So in other words, if you listen to the metronome, every time there's a click, that's a quarter note. Halfway between the clicks are the 8th notes, halfway between those are the 16ths, and so on. So the other two settings we didn't look at are free and off. The off setting corresponds to a checkbox down here. Let's take a look. So if I turn the 8th notes off, so any note it recognizes as belonging to the 8th division, it is muted, okay? Now, if I don't commit the command, which is what we're doing now, and go back to straight, I get them back. But if I did commit the command, they'd be muted, and you'd have to manually unmute them. The Xmute button does what we just saw there. If you turn off Xmute, it'll treat them the way any other normal quantizing algorithm treats them. It'll just move those notes to the nearest valid note, which in my opinion is almost never what you want. So I recommend this Xmute stay on, and you get your notes, they're either going to be muted or they're going to be moved to where you do want them. The other thing to look at is the high IQ mode. So basically the main thing my algorithm offers is a lot of intelligence in terms of determining what base note a note floating out in space belongs to, right? And if I start swinging these 16th notes, or maybe a better example is the 8th note, it's actually going up to the 32nd note start point and going into the 32nd swing zone, exiting the 32nd swing zone, and going all the way up to the 16th note. So there's a lot of intelligence that goes into smoothing this animation out, right? So the high IQ mode turns all that off, and simply now what you'll have is a swing algorithm. It just works like any other algorithm. There's no intelligence. It just snaps the notes to the nearest valid point. And let's put that on straight. A good example would be, if I want to make this a 32nd, pretty much the only way to do that is to have the high IQ mode off. So now it's snapped to the 32nd, and it's treated like a 32nd, and I can swing it as the 32nd if I want. Well, I have to commit the command, go back into it, and now I can treat it like a swing 32nd. Thanks for watching.